Good afternoon and welcome to the last edition of the World Today for the week. It is a Southwest Network program of Radio Nigeria Ibadan Zonal Station, comprising news and entertainment. First, the headlines. Supreme Court strikes out Osun government suit on withheld LG funds. Security agencies assure Oyo residents of adequate protection. U.S. intensifies attack on drug smuggling boats in Caribbean countries. Anti-Hamas militia dies in Gaza. Heart of the matter today is on embracing volunteerism as a tool for national development in Nigeria, as the world marks International Volunteers Day. My name is Stephen Agbaje. With me on the news is
Feyishara Owomuyela. Good afternoon. Remember to listen to us live via www.radionigeriaibadan.gov.ng or watch us live on Facebook at Premier FM 93.5. Be security conscious. Report any strange movement around you today. And now the details. The Supreme Court has struck out a suit filed by Osun State government that sought to compel the federal government to release withheld allocations belonging to local government areas in the state. A 7-member panel of the Apex Court, in a split decision of 6-1, held that the legal action brought by the Attorney General of Osun State lacked competence. In the lead judgment delivered by Justice Muhammad Idris, the court held that the local government councils, LGCs of Osun State, lacked the local standing to activate the Supreme Court's original jurisdiction on behalf of the 30 councils. Justice Idris stressed that the Supreme Court could only be approached as a court of first instance to settle disputes between a state and the federal government, and that the LGCs, being legally recognized autonomous entities, were the proper parties to challenge the federal government's action. He dismissed the state attorney general's argument that his suit was a public interest litigation. Although the Supreme Court upheld a preliminary objection filed by the Attorney General of the Federation challenging the competence of the suit, it admonished the federal government to give full effect to its judgment, granting fiscal autonomy to all 774 local government areas in the country. Osun State had sought multiple reliefs, including a declaration that the AGF could not act contrary to the subsisting decisions of the Federal High Court and the Court of Appeal by withholding allocations and directing payments to sacked APC local government officials. Counsel for Osun State Musibawa Adetumbi SAN argued that the AGF attempted to destroy the subject matter by attempting to pay the money to one of the contending parties, noting that an earlier court order stopped the release of the funds. On its part, the federal government contended that no cause of action was established against it and that the state was seeking to frustrate the APC officials whose 3-year term had expired.
The fear of daily security-related incidents has become a troubling reality for residents of southwest Nigeria amid rising cases of kidnapping by bandits alongside other common crimes. This growing threat is largely driven by the spillover of bandit activities from northern states into neighboring border states such as Kwara, Edo, and Kogi, which provide porous entry points into the southwest. These dangers can no longer be dismissed, and in this report, Jeffrey Ahomsi examines the rising security concerns in the region and the renewed call for public vigilance and stronger interstate collaboration to safeguard the lives and property of the people in the southwest of the country.
Recent surge in insecurity reports has jolted Nigerians and other stakeholders into heightened alertness, as many now describe the situation as a recurring nightmare. The country was first shaken by the news that 25 schoolgirls had been kidnapped from government girls' comprehensive secondary school in Maga, Kebbi State, during which the school's vice principal, Hassan Makuku, was killed. Shortly afterwards, gunmen abducted over 300 students and 12 teachers from St. Mary's Catholic School in Papiri, Niger State, described as one of the worst school kidnappings in Nigeria in recent times. In a bold challenge to security operatives, bandits invaded Christ Apostolic Church, Okesegun, in Eruku, Kwara State, killing 3 worshippers and kidnapping 38 others who were later released. These incidents, especially Kwara and other states bordering the southwest, highlight how porous boundaries have enabled gradual entry of bandit groups fleeing intensified military pressure in the north. Determined not to be caught unprepared, the governors of Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Ekiti, and Ondo states, alongside the deputy governor of Osun, met in Ibadan to forge a united response to the region's security challenges. In a communique read by the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the governors reiterated their long-standing call for the establishment of state police, insisting that the time had come and that further delay was unacceptable. The forum also urged the federal government to commence immediate surveillance of forests across the 6 southwest states to secure the vast belts that have become criminal hideouts.
The forum calls on the federal government to note the urgent need for enhanced forest surveillance across the southwest states and join and call on the federal government to secure the vast forest belts that have become hideouts for all sorts of criminal elements.
Public affairs commentator Dr. Oluwakemi Aremu advised citizens not to take the security issues lightly, urging them to remain vigilant and proactive.
Right now, we need public vigilance, and there goes also for vigilance in our neighborhood. That landlord that has not been to his property for years and has a caretaker who does not care who he brings into the community, but is busy thinking of how much money they are going to pay, and there's a deposit of 2 years. That is a public concern.
Security expert Mr. Johnson Emwabino stressed the need for security agencies to move from a reactive stance to a proactive one, embracing intelligence-led operations, community engagements, and modern technology.
They should be proactive in what they are doing right now. And in doing this, they should put in strategies that include intelligence-led operations. It is very, very important that the public, they are educated. If they see any suspicious things, suspicious movement, they should report this. They should not keep quiet.
The police public relations officer in Oyo State, Mr. Adewale Oshifeso, said the command, led by Commissioner of Police Femi Aruno, had consistently adjusted its security strategy to address emerging threats. In a reassuring note, the commandant of the Oyo State Amotekun Corps, retired Colonel Olayinka Olayonju, said the Corps had strengthened surveillance in border communities.
When you look at Okeogun, from Irepo, Kishi, coming to Orelope, Igboho, to Igbeti, Shaki West, Ibarapa Central, all this area, we have borders with Benin Republic, with Ogun State, with Kwara State. Those areas are thickly forested. We have people around this area having close monitoring of this border area.
Some residents of Ibadan who spoke with Radio Nigeria urged the government and other key stakeholders to protect the lives and property of all citizens, irrespective of tribe or religion.
The government needs to introduce some new members into our military, those that they can trust, those that they know that they can actually do the work.
The government should delegate security men around the state because they can invade the city at any time, and we don't know when they will invade, just like how they invaded Kwara State.
I think one of the things the government can do about it is already what the government already did, which was calling all security operatives that are guarding some VIPs, because we need all hands on deck.
They also appealed for a permanent solution to the ongoing killings in the country, emphasizing that every life matters. In Ibadan, Jeffrey Ahomisi, Radio Nigeria.
Thank you, Jeffrey, for that report. Still on security matters, the Nigeria Police Oyo State Command has commenced investigations into the kidnap of a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Mr. Wale Uriade, in Ibadan. The command's public relations officer, Mr. Dewale Oshifeso, stated this while confirming the incident to Radio Nigeria. Mr. Oshifeso said the APC chieftain in Ibadan Southwest local government area was kidnapped by unknown gunmen on Wednesday around 7 o'clock in the evening at his office located at Elewure NNPC Akala Expressway, New Garage, Ibadan. Radio Nigeria gathered that Mr. Oriade was kidnapped by 3 gunmen who forced him into a blue micro car while leaving his office to an unknown destination. Radio Nigeria also gathered, as at the time of filing this report, that the abductors were yet to contact the family of the victim to make any demands.
In the meantime, the chairman, Board of Management of Ekiti State University Teaching Hospital at Ekiti, EXUT, Dr. Adedamola Dada, has constituted a 7-man panel of inquiry to look into the alleged case of kidney removal in the hospital by Mr. Joshua Afolayan, a patient of the hospital who had surgery recently in the facility. This was contained in a statement by the head, Corporate Affairs of the hospital, Mrs. Rolake Adeomi. The statement notes that members of the panel include Professor Francis Faduile and anatomic pathologist from the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, who will serve as chairman of the panel, Professor Patrick Adegun of the Federal University Oye Ekiti, Dr. Henry Abiere from Federal Teaching Hospital Ido Ekiti, and Dr. Mrs. Adebola Agbaje, General Manager, Progress FM at Ido Ekiti, among others. The statement notes that the panel has 10 days to submit its report. It states that the hospital management reassured the public that no stone will be left unturned to unravel the truth. The statement adds that all affected parties and the general public were urged to cooperate with the panel.
According to biblical records, God created soil as part of creating the world. This creation is one of the most important parts of God's work due to the purposes it serves to both living and non-living creatures. The multidimensional usefulness of soil prompted an expert in the field of mineral resources and geology, Mr. Yodele Rotimi, to advocate sensitization of farmers, property owners, and developers, as well as policymakers, on driving a collective action at ensuring healthy soil. Our correspondent Funsho Ogunleye engages the expert on and other stakeholders on the commemoration of World Soil Day.
Theme for this year's World Soil Day is Healthy City for Healthy City, as it focuses on the importance of soil in urban environments to make city greener, cooler, and more resilient, highlighting the role of sustainable soil management in urban biodiversity and food security. As soil expert, Mr. Ayodele Rotimi, who is also a senior lecturer at the Department of Mineral and Petroleum Technology, the Federal Polytechnic Ado Ekiti, explained that sensitization of major stakeholders in soil management became imperative due to significant roles it plays in ecosystem. Mr. Rotimi added that soil regulates temperature because it supports biodiversity, microorganisms, insects, and animals as it stores carbon and combats climate change, as well as supports foundation of buildings and roads.
Soil supports plant biology. It provides nutrient structure for urban vegetation. Healthy soils elicits the air quality and reduces urban heat.
The soil experts, however, suggested that growing food locally with organic practices will build soil fertility by planting trees, green infrastructure, encouragement of afforestation, planting of cover cropping like legumes and grasses to prevent erosion, planting of different crops at different seasons to refresh the nutrients of the soil, which will also ensure organic farming to reduce chemical fertilizers and pesticide applications on the soil.
It can also encourage crop rotation, planting different crops in different seasons will refresh the nutrients of the soil.
Some mailis from various fields in Ado Ekiti who made their contributions call on major stakeholders to look into the emerging need on soil protection through formulation of policies so that Nigeria will have safe soil to perform varieties of activities.
Okay, the emerging needs for soil protection needed to be looked into for Nigeria to have safe soil to perform needed activities.
In Nigeria, there should be a farming practices that can encourage soil protection, which must be embraced by everybody.
The respondent noted that such will also improve organic fertility and control indiscriminate mining activities, among others. In Ado-Ekiti, Funsho Ogunleye, Radio Nigeria.
Old age in Nigeria and Africa in general is often associated with poverty, health challenges, and lack of adequate care, going by the experiences the elders are exposed to. The need to therefore give the elders a sense of belonging made Premier FM 93.5 to put together a program called Ikegba, which brought elders together to unwind and enjoy. The elders, in their numbers, clad in colorful native attires, trooped to Omar Jorosun Club, venue of this year's event, to celebrate. While welcoming the elders, General Manager PFM Mr. Shegun Ogunjobi said Ikegba, which centers around care of the elderly, portrays Radio Nigeria as a dynamic station with which prioritize senior citizens. While taking the guest down memory lane of Ikegba, the former General Manager Premier FM, who is also one of the initiators of the program, Mr. Adedamola Tinubu, said the idea came up as a way of bridging the gap which manifested through the neglect of elders in the society. A PDP gubernatorial aspirant in Oyo State, who was the chairman on the occasion, Chief Niyi Aborishade, cautioned older women against leaving their husbands behind to cater for their grandchildren based abroad. Chief Aborishade noted that marriage slogan of Together Forever must be sustained without anything or anyone separating it. Chief Aborishade also called on the government and individuals to prioritize the well-being of the elderly. Zonal Director, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, Ibadan Zonal Station, Mr. Dominic Mukiko, represented by the Deputy Director, Outside Broadcast and Sports, Dr. Abiodun Ogidon, said Radio Nigeria prioritized the need to celebrate the contributions of the elders in the society. Mr. Mukiko noted that the theme of the program, Older Persons Driving Local and Global Action, Our Well-Being, pointed to the fact that the elders are not just observers in the society, but they play a major role in shaping the society through their experiences. Two elders, Mr. Adegboyega Ayinde, who is 70 years old, and Ajia Azizat Winjobi, who is 81 years old, advised the elders to take it easy and not involve themselves in any business deal that could affect their health. Guests at the program included the Committee of Management, Radio Nigeria, Ibadan Station. The program featured health talk, dance sessions, headgear and tie contests. This is the world today, the stories that made the headlines. Supreme Court struck out Osun government suit on withheld LG funds. Security agencies assured Oyo residents of adequate protection. Still to come. U.S. intensifies attack on drug smuggling boats in Caribbean countries. Anti-Hamas militia dies in Gaza. Details shortly.
Glad to know you're still with us on the Southwest Network of Radio Nigeria. Well, today, the last in its series this week, we continue with the package. The 2025 Press Week Award ceremony of the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, Ibadan Chapel of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, NUJ, took a unique turn with renewed calls for media professionals across the country to hold political leaders accountable to the people. Olubunmi Agbola, who covered the ceremony, reports that beyond offering members of the FRC and NUJ an opportunity to unwind, the occasion also provided a platform for contestants in the forthcoming state council election to seek the support of members of the FRC and Chapel of the Union. Her report.
The event, which attracted staff members from other FM stations of the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria in Oyo State, as well as some retirees of the station, also featured members of the union elegantly dressed in uniform Ankara attire. Addressing members of the FRCN chapel of the NUJ, the lawmaker representing Ibadan North Federal Constituency at the House of Representatives, Mr. Fola Oyekunle, said media professionals play a crucial role in fostering good governance in Nigeria by holding political office holders accountable. While congratulating the chapel on its annual press week, Mr. Oyekunle urged journalists across the country to sustain their watchdog role and remain guided by the ethics of their profession.
They should not be biased in all their reports, because it is their reports that will show whether there will be progress, whether there will be war in the country. So I am happy for the recognition.
Speaking in the same vein, the Zonal Director, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, Ibadan Zonal Station, Mr. Dominic Mokikon, represented by the Deputy Director of Programs, Reverend Niyi Downsi, emphasized that as the fourth estate of the realm, journalists must continue to set standards for political leaders to steer the nation in the right direction.
When it comes to writing, we have powerful, dynamic pen pushers.
Additionally, the chairman of Lagelu local government, Mr. Kamarudin Mudashiru, stated that journalists, through their reportage, could influence peace and progress in any nation, hence the need for them to continually uphold professional standard. Earlier, in his welcome address, the chairman of the FRCN chapel of the NUJ, Mr. Oluwakayode Banjo, urged members to maintain the high professional standards for which FRCN is known. Commenting on the awards, Mr. Banjo said, the union recognized the significant contribution of the awardees to the socio-economic development of their communities.
We've decided to set aside a day out of the press week to recognize outstanding Nigerians, those who in their various fields, they have distinguished themselves.
On the forthcoming NUJ State Council election, the chairmanship candidates, Mr. Akim Abbas, Mr. Adebayo Raji, and Mr. Olushola Oladapo expressed readiness to accept the outcome of the election peacefully and without rancor, while congratulating the leadership and members of the FRCN chapel of their press week. The candidates encourage members to come out en masse and vote for credible leaders of their choice. The outgoing chairman of NUJ Oyo State Council, Mr. Demola Babalola, who described the chairmanship position as temporary, urged contestants to embrace peace before, during, and after the election. On her part, the Oyo State chairperson of Nigeria Association of Women Journalists, NAWAJ, Mrs. Omolola Alami, congratulated the chapel and pledged continued support towards its progress. Some FRCN members described the event as worthwhile. The Chief Executive Officer of Keromli Gym and Fitness Center of Bafemi Awolowo Stadium, Ibadan, Mrs. Romoke Ainde, commended the FRCN Chapel of the NUJ for recognizing the contribution of the awardees. In Ibadan, Olubumi Agbola, Radio Nigeria.
All right, from that report, we move to the foreign scenes, where the United States military has conducted another deadly strike on an alleged drug smuggling boat in the Caribbean, killing 4 people. Reports say the attack comes as the administration of United States President Donald Trump faced renewed scrutiny over the strikes after it was revealed that a targeted boat had been struck twice during the September 2nd attack.
The leader of anti-Hamas group that was armed and backed by Israel, Yasser Abdul-Shabaab, has been killed in Gaza. Report says Yasser Abdul-Shabaab, who led a militia controlling a patch of territory in Rafah in southern Gaza, was killed while trying to de-escalate a conflict between members of a family in a public square.
In today's Art of the Matter, an intern from the Polytechnic Ibadan, Emmanuel Ogidi, writes on embracing volunteerism as a tool for national development in Nigeria as the world marks International Volunteers Day.
Volunteering is one of the most powerful ways people use to contribute to the society, offering their time and skills to making communities better. Voluntary behavior stands out as a powerful reminder that human compassion still exists. It is the quiet strength that holds communities together. At a time the world is facing economic hardship, social challenges, and humanitarian crises, one group continues to make a difference without expecting anything in return. International Volunteers Day is marked on every December 5, honors these individuals whose small acts of service create big changes in the society. The theme for this year's International Volunteers Day is Every Contribution Matters. Volunteers help in building stronger communities, teaching children, supporting healthcare, protecting the environment, and helping during emergencies. Across the globe and here in Nigeria, volunteers play critical roles that often go unnoticed. They teach children in under-resourced schools, support hospitals, clean the environment, empower youths, and respond to emergencies long before government agencies arrive. No contribution is too small. Nigeria's future depends not only on government actions, but also on the willingness of ordinary citizens to take extraordinary steps with a view to making the society habitable for all.
That's Scripting International Volunteers Day, which focuses on embracing volunteerism as a tool for development in Nigeria, was written by an intern from the Polytechnic Ibadan, Emmanuel Ogidi, and read by Emilia Uchemudia.
And to wrap it up, let's join Lillian Ibomo for Entertainment Gist.
Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Entertainment Gist for the week. I'm Lillian Ibomo, aka IJB. This week, he get two-face. When I say two-face, I mean it, oh. No be small thing. The matter as e dey hot, oh. Between Two-Face Idibia and his new wife, Natasha Osawuru, is what make the waves this week. There was an alleged altercation between the couple recently in London. Natasha was reportedly upset after Two-Baba left her behind to greet fans at an airport, which led to face-off between the couple, resulting in the arrest of the singer by the UK police. No be small thing, wetin I dey tell you now. The singer was seen being arrested in a footage that has set social media on fire with reactions from fans, an incident confirmed by the former manager, Kaka Igbokwe. The social media went frenzy and was intensified when an heated argument between the couple was accidentally broadcast during a live Instagram session hosted by media personality Daddy Freeze. As the crisis lingered, netizens followed X, TikTok, and Instagram with comments and speculations, turning the incident into one of the most talked about events online. They reacted in their usual mix of humor, banter, criticism, and concerns, as some criticized Two-Baba for his choices, while others took Natasha's side, praising her assertiveness and resilience. However, family members of Innocent Idibia, popularly known as Two-Baba, has petitioned the Nigerian police, alleging their son is being assaulted and fed illicit drugs by his wife, Natasha Osawuru, a member of the Edo House of Assembly.
Thank you very much, Lillian, for that wonderful gist. And to wrap up the world today for today and the week, the main headlines again. The Supreme Court has struck out a suit filed by Osun State government that sought to compel the federal government to release withheld allocations belonging to local government areas in the state. Security agencies have assured Oyo residents of adequate protection. And we also brought to you that the leader of anti-Hamas group that was armed and backed by Israel, Yasser Abdul Shabab, has been killed in Gaza.
And that's it in the world today. That's the news in the world today for the week. Join us on Monday for a fresh edition of the program Jeffrey Ahamisi edited. I am Feyi Shara Owomoyela, wishing you a restful weekend from my colleague
Stephen Agbaje. Thanks for listening and you have a blessed one.